Hey YouTube, how are you guys doing today? So I actually was not going to film a video today. I even told myself not to because I feel like I've been filming a lot of kind of videos in the same setting, plus it's really dark, but I really felt like it, honestly, and I kind of realized that sometimes when you feel like doing something, it's when you have to do it. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go for a little bit of a walk. I am getting a later start than what I had planned. I was so tired after work, which isn't usually like, I don't know, like I don't usually feel like I have to lay down and take a nap or anything like that, but I was so tired. I didn't take a nap, but I did lay down for about half an hour. It was actually really cute. My cat Leo came up right by me, and he's by nature he's kind of a scaredy cat, but he's warmed up to me, obviously, I would hope, after all these years. And he wants to be petted. Anytime I lay down, he wants to be petted. I'm wearing a different kind of hat than what I usually wear because it's cold. It's actually warmer than what it's been. It's like 53 degrees right now, at least that's what my car says. And it's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to go out and go for a walk, because it's not that that's warm, but it's warmer than what it has been. But I have been so cold lately. Like when it's cold outside, I don't think I have a problem with being cold. I don't know. But I've been so cold lately. I remember I tried to go for a walk. I think it was Saturday. I tried to go for a walk. I went out, got out of my car, started walking, and then I turned around and it was freezing. I was really stressed out on Saturday. On Saturday, I had one of those days where I could not do anything. Like, you go to start to do something and you forget what you're doing. Like, I couldn't do anything on Saturday. I just couldn't force myself to get anything done. But anyway, I had a few other things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I also wanted to say thank you for everyone who is for the warm welcomes back for me making videos and whatnot. Like, I really do appreciate that. Like when people are like, oh yay, I'm glad you're making videos again and whatnot. Like, I really do appreciate that. I'm not just saying that. I feel so cheeseball, but I'm like, I think that's kind of cool. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, but also doing these videos for me, it's kind of just a way for me to look back on my life too. It's like kind of a way to, like, sometimes if you're going for a walk and you feel like calling someone, you just feel like having a phone conversation or something. And so this is kind of one of my little ways to do that. And not that I'm gonna do these car vlogs, especially now because it's really dark and grainy. I kind of like the dark lighting though. I don't know, I feel like it kind of acts like a filter, so maybe I just kind of, this is a little bit too grainy. It's a little bit too bright. I'm wearing my favorite cologne, one of my favorites, if not my favorite cologne, which I do want to do a video where I show you. I thought about doing a cologne collection, which, I may do, but what I really want to do, I think I like Better With It Off. Is that Better With It Off? I just feel like that's too, like, if the light were a filter, I wouldn't like that one as much. Even though it's harder to see, I like that. Sometimes it's funny because sometimes I will want to post a picture on my stories or a video on my stories, and I don't edit my photos, as far as like I don't Facetune or or Photoshop. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't Photoshop my photos. I'll put filters on. Sometimes I will put filters on, but I don't. I don't like edit other stuff because I feel like that would be cheating. Filters are kind of cheating a little bit, but I don't know. Sometimes I just put a video. I think I even went through this with my last one. I just put a video up today, and I wanted to put like a filter on it because it was like a little clip of one of these YouTube videos that I was putting out, and I wanted to put a filter on it because I'm like, oh, it's like the filter I was going to use. It's like a tanner one. It makes you look more tan. And so I was kind of like, oh, I want to use that because I look really cool with that. But then I'm like, then they're going to see the video and they're going to see like without the filter, and they're gonna be like, oh, that's, you know, I thought you looked better than that. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, I better not use the filter, but I wanted to. So oh, but what I was gonna say though is I think I really do want to do a video where I show just some different. I'm not going to do every last one. Like, there's some I feel kind of funny about showing. Not that they're bad or anything like that. I don't know. I feel weird about showing everything. Like, I feel like there are some people out there that, you know, maybe you could show more than you could show others. Like, as far as, I don't know, just like little things or whatnot. But I feel like also, I don't know, it's just, I gotta be careful, because sometimes if you say something or show something that's like too personal, on one hand I'm like, it is what it is, you know what I mean? Like, what, I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't care that much. Like, it is what are you gonna do, shoot me, you know? So, but you just have to be careful, because as many, you know, there might be one person that you could, I'm like looking at this one person walk in, and there's just some people you just have to be, I want to say you have to be careful with, but see, people will use things against you. That's one thing I've learned. I mean, I guess really all of my life, but I think it's probably, I probably noticed it more because it's on a grander scale when I'm more active on YouTube or whatnot. I notice this. There are people who will take things and they will use what you say against you. I post these videos to show like little clips of my life. If there was something where I wanted advice on, anything someone says to me, I've heard it before. Like, you probably think I'm stupid, but I'm not stupid. I'm not, like, it ticks me off when people think I'm dumb. Like, I don't live under a rock. And if I did want advice, and I'm speaking just in general, I'm not like directing this towards any one person, just general speaking, when people give me unsolicited advice. But if I did want advice on something, I would ask. And there have been times in the past before where I have asked. I've said to people, okay, well, what do you think I should do? Should I do this or that? Like, sometimes I am curious to hear what other people have to say. Sometimes I know what I'm going to do, but I just want to hear other people's opinions. Anyway. So I was like thinking that, and I'm like, I was like kind of thinking about like, I probably should plan out these vlogs a little bit more than I do. I kind of plan them out a little bit. Like, I kind of have a few things in my head of what I want to talk about and what I'm going to say. Sometimes it's kind of like, but it's like you're talking to someone on the phone. Sometimes you start talking and then it just kind of goes into it, you know, it sometimes goes into a little bit different of a direction. That's fine. It's natural. It's just like a realistic, more or less a realistic conversation, if you will. And so I was like thinking about like things that I was going to say and like things that I was going to talk about. And I thought, oh, you know, I could mention, you know, talk about a little bit about my day, mention that, you know, how tired I was, which I did. I talked about that a little bit. But then part of me in my brain, then I'm starting to think, oh, well, if you say that, then, you know, someone's going to say, oh, it's because you drank coffee, or it's because you didn't get enough sleep or what. So it's like but that's one thing I'm kind of letting go, more or less, when I make these videos, is I'm sort of letting go on that, because I know that no matter what I say, people are going to misinterpret what I say, or they're going to receive me in a way that, like, you're off base. Like, there was something I remember when I was in 8th grade, I was in English class, and we had to give these presentations. We had to pick like I kind of remember it, but just for lack of example, we had to pick like a certain historical figure. You know, each of us had to pick a certain historical figure, and we had to do research on that person, and then we had to do a presentation. And I was, as quiet as I was in school, and I even talked a little bit about that in my last video, as quiet as I was in school, I was not like super shy when it came to coming up and giving a speech. Like, I could speak in front of the class, and it didn't, you know, like it did not bother me that much. Like, that didn't freak me out. Like, as shy and as I'm sure I was in a lot of other situations where I probably shouldn't have been shy, public speaking or speaking, anyway, I was fine. And so I kind of remember like realizing that about myself, and at the time I thought, oh, this is like actually kind of cool. Like, it kind of felt like a little victory, like a little win for me, right? I'm like, oh, like this doesn't make me nervous. I'm good at this or whatnot, or you know, I'm comfortable doing it, at least, or I felt like I was good at it. And I remember just thinking about how I'm not nervous. Like, I just, I was just like really proud of myself because I wasn't nervous. I was comfortable. I was confident. And I thought, gosh, you did a really good job. Or, I felt like I did a good job. Anyway, part of our process after we gave the speech, we received feedback from our classmates. And the way we did it was which I feel like to do this nowadays, I don't know that you could do this in school nowadays, but when I was in school, when I was in 8th grade, I guess you could, there would be a box, people would write down how you did, like they would write down, what you did good, what you can improve on, and whatnot, like your peers, your other 8th grade classmates, and then they would put them in the box, and I think they were anonymous. I don't think they had names on them. Sometimes you might be able to kind of tell by the handwriting who it was or whatnot, but it's like you're reading the reviews. It's like you're getting a comment. You're getting a comment on YouTube or whatever. And I remember reading those reviews in 8th grade, and a lot of the reviews there were a good portion of them. They're like, wow, Sam, you I'm just making this up, but like they were impressed. Like they were like impressed as I was. They're like, oh, you did really good. You did really good. You weren't nervous. You were really comfortable. You're a good speaker. And I'm like, I know, right? Like not in a cocky way, but more like a surprise way. Like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, And there were some little, here, I'm gonna sound like HRH. There were some literal, I can't even say it, literal rats in the back of the classroom. I'm gonna borrow that phrase. I'm like not trying to steal. I love her, by the way. I love HRH. But there were some rats in the back of the classroom. And I remember I got some reviews from some people, and they said, some of them weren't even trying to be mean, but they said, oh, you were obviously nervous, but you did a good job. And I wanted to like look at them and like kind of, I'm like, I wasn't nervous. Like I felt, it's like you want to get a little, if I'm having a conversation with someone and I feel like I have to use all these I sentences and say, I didn't do that, I told you that, and I have to defend myself. I kind of feel like that puts me in a position of weakness. Like I just feel kind of weak sometimes when I do that. So I try to reframe that. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. But the reason why I'm saying that is because it made me feel like that. Like it made me, because I knew that like I wasn't nervous. I knew that I did a good job giving my little 8th grade presentation, but there's still people who are going to misinterpret things and think something is what it's not. And especially if you maybe have overcame something in your life, this is what pisses me off more than anything else. If you have overcame something in your life and you've moved on, maybe you've had an obstacle or whatnot, and you've worked through it, and you look back, you're like, I've made stride and I feel good, and that doesn't bother anymore. I feel really good. Sometimes, well, I guess if you're over it enough, it doesn't bother you, but I don't know. Sometimes people might say something and they might pick on like an insecurity that you had or at one time had that you've made progress on that you weren't even displaying in that video or whatnot, and they'll pick up on it, and it ticks you off because more than anything else, you can tell it's just the box that they've put you in, and you kind of feel like you've been typecasted. You kind of feel like, now that I've been put in this box, I'm never going to get out of this box in this, I don't know, I don't want to compare these two, but, and I don't want to misquote the Bible, but I believe there's a scripture. I have been listening to the Bible, actually, believe it or not, on audio book, the Message Bible. I've been listening to the book of Matthew, and there's a scripture that a prophet has no honor in his hometown or something like that. I'm just saying it from memory. I don't want to misquote anything, but I'm like, that's kind of so true, because I feel like once people put you in a box, oh, you're just this, that's just him, he just does this, that, like you feel like you can never break out of that box with some people, and that pisses me off so bad, because anyway, I don't want to get into it, but that ticks me off more than anything else, because I don't, without trying to sound too poetic or whatever, I don't box myself in. Like, I purposely allow myself to, if I want to become someone else and work towards something, I allow myself and encourage myself to do that. And I think that's healthy. I think that's part of the human experience, but it's just so irritating when you have people who put you in a box and try to pull you back into it. I'm like, and sometimes these people are well-meaning. Sometimes it's people who are well-meaning, and I want to look at them. I'm going to be like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. I don't like the way that you viewed me then, and if that's how you're gonna view me now, I don't want you in my life because you're dragging me down. Like, you're dragging down my vibe. Anyway, I thought this video was gonna be quick, but I will go ahead and end it here. And I'm not talking to like the majority of people when I say this kind of thing. You know, I'm just like talking about, I don't know, it's probably like, sometimes you get worried, like if you ever talk about something that you get frustrated or whatnot about, you know, you think, oh, some people might think I'm like talking to them, but really you're not. You're just talking to, you know, like you're talking to like 1% or whatever. Anyway, hopefully you get what I mean. So I will end it here. Thank you so much for watching, and more videos, different videos than this, but there probably will be more videos like this in the future, and I will hopefully see you in my next one. All right, until then.